When was the last time you felt in control of your business finances? Expenses tracked, invoices sent, taxes ready. That's where Found comes in. Found brings your banking, bookkeeping, invoicing, and taxes together in one simple app. Manage expenses, invoice clients, send payments, and prep for tax time right where you bank. Join the hundreds of thousands who have already streamlined their finances with Found. Open a Found account for free at found.com. That's FOUND.com. Found is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services provided by Lead Bank, member FDIC.
All right, guys, so check this out. Have you ever heard of Goldbelly? Okay, so it's this amazing site where you can order the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants all across the country, and they will ship it straight to your door. That's right, these guys will ship you Philly cheesesteaks from Jim's or Pat's in Philly, buffalo wings from the Anchor Bar in Buffalo, and even Kansas City's most legendary barbecue. So if you're looking to host an epic Super Bowl party, go to goldbelly.com and get free shipping and 20% off your first order with promo code GAMEDAY.
Thank you for joining us on Still a Part of Us. This is an interview between Winter and Liz about her daughter Ellie. This was originally a long interview at over 3.5 hours, so we have broken this into 2 parts. This is part 1. Thank you.
Eleanor Grace. She was a resilient, sassy Scorpio girl.
Welcome to Still a Part of Us, a place where moms and dads share the story of their child who was stillborn or who died in infancy. I'm Winter.
And I'm Lee. We are grateful you joined us today. Please note that this is a story of loss and has triggers.
Thanks to our lost parents who are willing to be vulnerable and share their children with us.
If you're listening to this podcast, just know that on our YouTube channel there are pictures and videos that are related to the stories that are being shared.
Subscribe and share it with a friend that might need it and tell them to subscribe. Why? Because people need to know that even though our babies are no longer with us, they're still a part of us. Welcome to Still a Part of Us. We are back here today with Liz. Liz has reached out to us, and I was shocked. I'll be completely honest. I was so shocked when I got her email because she is not very far out from her loss, and but also very. Her little girl is. I'm just going to get into it because I think this is something that is going to be near and dear to my heart because I have a friend that has experienced something very, very similar, and I'm just so grateful that you wanting to share and share your journey with us, and so soon also. That is the other thing I'm just so surprised at. So Liz, welcome. Thank you so much. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am in Southwest Michigan, and I was born and raised here. I met my husband about 11 years ago is when we started dating. And we have a beautiful boy. His name is Booker. He's 20 months old. And we recently lost our daughter, Ellie. And we've started doing a lot after we got her diagnosis, after we lost her. And we just want to share it with the world. So
yeah. So thank you again for coming on. It's just so excited to hear more about your journey. Okay, so you have your cute little family. Is your husband from the Michigan area as well then?
Yeah, we actually went to high school together.
Oh, you did?
But I didn't know him in school. He had long hair back then.
Oh.
So
You didn't notice him?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
We were 2 grades apart, and we met in 2014. He found a picture online and was like, friend requested me, and he's like, I want to meet you. I want to go out on a date. And we hit it off on day 1, and we've been together ever since. So.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And then, and then Booker, who is 20 months old. So he's probably starting to get really busy, huh?
Yes. His vocabulary in the last few weeks has grown so much. Yes, and he like picks up on words that we don't teach him. So he's like a sponge. He's just soaking it all up.
Yeah, those kids.
And we just started potty training a couple weeks ago too. So we're in the thick of it right now.
Yes, that is exciting, right there.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. And what do you guys like to do as a family?
We really love traveling. We recently went to Tennessee. We love exploring, hiking, trying new places together, whether it's a new place to eat or a new place to walk or whatever it is. It's the exploring that really gets us.
That's fantastic. Love it.
Yeah.
And both of your families are in Michigan. I always like to just kind of get an idea of where everybody's at. So, it sounds like family, like having kids, has been on your radar. Is that the case? Do you guys want a big family? Kids were always wanting something you guys wanted.
Yeah. So I always imagined myself as a mom, but it wasn't until we got married where we really thought hard about having a family. It took us 2 years to get pregnant with Booker.
Okay.
So about 2 years after we got married is when we started trying really hard. And we were at the point where we almost went to see a fertility specialist.
Okay.
But my husband he was getting so frustrated. I started getting really frustrated. And there was like 1 month in June, I threw away all of my ovulation tests. I like deleted the app on my phone. Yeah. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And we got pregnant in July. So
that's maybe what you needed to do. Throw everything away.
Yeah. Yep. So we were pretty shocked with Booker that, the second we stopped trying, which is what everybody told us to do. We just never listened. So.
That is awesome. And then and then did you guys plan to have Ellie, like try to get pregnant with her?
So that was the opposite, actually.
Okay.
I had my first like annual physical. I hadn't seen like an actual doctor in years. And I finally scheduled my like annual appointment with a doctor that had great reviews. I went to go see her February 18th. And she asked all the questions, what are you using for birth control? And I told her, I'm just kind of just tracking my cycle. I'm not really using birth control to prevent anything, just because birth control before has made me pretty crazy. Birth control and I don't mix very well. Yeah. But like I was like, well, it took 2 years of trying hard to get pregnant with Booker. So, I'm probably fine. And she's like, oh, well, if she's like, are you okay if you were to get pregnant today? Would you be okay with that? And I remember like sitting there for a really long time and I was like, would I be okay with that? And I knew that I wouldn't. I knew that because I had such bad postpartum depression with Booker.
Okay.
And he was only 9 months old at the time. And I was just starting to feel myself, like just barely, like weeks into like finding new things that I love and like finding myself again.
Yes.
And so I told my doctor, I'm okay with it. Just thinking, it's years down the road.
Right.
And I definitely was like, I want a bigger family, but I wanted to wait a while.
Right. Okay.
And we ended up conceiving Ellie just on the 22nd of February. So literally days later. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But when did you, obviously it takes a minute. When did you guys actually officially find out that you were pregnant?
So I'm very, very regular. So I was like 2 days late.
Okay.
And I was spotting and I was like, it could be that I'm just like, I'm still stressed out. I just had a baby 9 months ago or 10 months ago. And I was like, it's not that big of a deal, but I really like sat in my thoughts for a whole day. And I was like, my body feels different. And I had that same thing with Booker as well. I found out 4 weeks, 4 days with him, 4 weeks, 3 days with Ellie.
Okay.
So my husband came home and, I went to the bathroom and I came out and I'm like, I need you to get a pregnancy test. Like, I need you to go buy one because I don't feel right. And I think he was on the phone with his friend and he kind of like pushed it off a little bit. And he's like, okay. And I wanted him, because we live kind of in a rural area. We have like this store like in the middle of our town that's like this convenience store.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's only 5 minutes away. Go there. I can't wait for you to drive all the way into like the next town.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he went to the little convenience store. He wasn't happy about it because, everybody knows everybody there.
Yes. And you're picking up a pregnancy test. Yeah.
Yep. And he called me and he's like, they're out of pregnancy tests. And I'm like, what do you mean they're out of pregnancy tests? And I was like, well, did you ask someone who was there? And, I'm just like a bundle of nerves. And he's like, yeah. And she made a joke about, all these Valentine's babies. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was like exactly what he was trying to avoid.
Right, exactly. I was like, dang it.
Yeah. So he ended up driving like 25 minutes to the next town. And I'm, texting him, which I'm sending pictures on his phone of like which pregnancy tests to get. Cause I wanted to be sure. And he comes home with a pregnancy test and I've got, my 9-month-old Booker, he's like on my hip. He just woke up from a nap. I'm super anxious. So I like push him into my husband's arms and I grab the tests and I run into the bathroom. And I remember like I couldn't get the box open. So I'm like literally like tearing at the box.
Yeah.
And then I grab a test and I pee on it and it turned positive so fast.
Really?
Like before the dye even filled the circle completely, there were two very, very dark lines. And I just remember just like falling to my knees on the floor in the bathroom and just like sobbing. And I'm just like, I'm clutching this positive pregnancy test. And my husband puts Booker down and he comes into the bathroom and he looks at it and he sees us that it's positive and he's just like grinning ear to ear. Like he's so excited.
Yeah.
And because him and his brothers grew up really close together in age. So that's how he wanted our family as well. But I was just like, I just wasn't ready.
Yes. I mean, 9 months is really not that, like, that's a lot of adjustment. So.
Yeah. So he was like, it's going to be okay. They're going to grow up best friends. Like they're only going to be 18 months apart from each other. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm just like sobbing and I just like, I can't even catch my breath. I'm crying so hard. And at that exact moment, my 9-month-old who had just learned to crawl, crawled over to the dog water dish and spilled the water all over the kitchen floor. Oh, like it was literally like a scene from like a rom-com movie. Yes. It was crazy. Yeah.
It's going to be fine. Psh, big mess.
Yeah. So it took me a while, first of all, to like accept that I was pregnant. And then second of all, when I finally accepted, like, yes, this is real, to like be happy with it. And I carried a lot of guilt through my pregnancy because of that.
Yeah. That would, that's unfortunately, that's kind of the way it goes though sometimes. So, okay. So then did you end up confirming it with your doctor, or your OBGYN?
Yep. So I called and I don't know why this is, but the same thing happened when I was pregnant with Booker. They didn't want me to take an HCG test right away. They wanted me to wait a while, but because I was in shock, I kind of just needed like the confirmation of it. Yeah. So I went the next day to a lab to get it drawn just to make sure. And yep, it did confirm a yes.
Yes. Again. So
Yep.
yeah, that is really, yeah. The feelings if you put me in that situation, I'd be like, wow, that is so, yeah. I would be sobbing on the floor too.
Yeah.
And I would be getting that extra lab test done too. I
Yep.
need to know if this is real. So
Oh yeah.
okay, but then you eventually did go in to your doctor. Did you have an ultrasound? Because sometimes they do an ultrasound, sometimes they don't, at a first visit.
Yeah. So with Booker, I waited until he was 12. I was 12 weeks gestation with him, but with Ellie, I wanted it done right away. I think I was trying to like subconsciously like make it more real to me. I didn't want to like resent being pregnant.
Yeah.
And so I just like, I tried to cram as much as I could early on to like change my mind and be okay with being pregnant.
Yeah.
So I scheduled as soon as I could with Ellie, which was actually 8 weeks into the pregnancy. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty close. And then how did they go? Did you go by yourself? Did you take your husband / Booker, everybody?
So yeah, so we didn't take Booker to anything just because he's kind of a wild child.
Yes.
So, but my husband did go, and I remember like being completely different from Booker's ultrasound, and I compared a lot to his because obviously that was the only one I had. Yeah, so I remember with Booker, he was a lot bigger, but with Ellie, it was just like a little blip on the screen, like a little blip with a tiny little heartbeat. And the sonographer was really quiet. And I remember like asking her, you know, is everything okay? And she was like, oh yeah, everything's fine. And I asked her, because we had friends who had recently had a miscarriage. I asked her, you know, is everything measuring okay? And she was like, well, it looks like you're measuring 1 week later than what you thought. And that kind of like, I don't know, like it made me realize that maybe something could be wrong.
Okay.
But after the ultrasound, we started like looking things up and everything. And apparently it's completely normal. However, like, in hindsight, I see that probably could have been like the first sign of her diagnosis.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you look back and you just realize, oh yeah, maybe there were some things that were maybe pointing to something.
And no one really told us, but apparently I had 2 mid-size hematomas. And the sonographer didn't say anything. My doctor didn't follow up with that or anything. So we kind of just like researched it ourselves, and it said that it would go away then by itself. So I don't know what happened with that, but it was fine. So yeah.
But that was something you just read on the report. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then, okay, so you're going along. Oh, I'm curious. How are you feeling at the time? This is like first trimester. It sounds like like you are aware of your body. But are you feeling nauseous, morning sickness, anything like that?
It was like the exact opposite of my first pregnancy. My first pregnancy, I was so sick. I had like all of the symptoms, you know, the book of symptoms that you could get. I had them.
You had them. Okay.
But with Ellie, it was like a dream pregnancy. Like I was never sick. I was never in pain. I didn't have any sciatic nerve pain. I didn't, like with my first one, I couldn't eat because everything tasted like metal. Yeah. But with Ellie, like everything felt fine. I didn't have any like weird cravings like it did my first one. It was just like a dream.
Yeah.
Which made it harder to like make it real for me.
Yeah. You're like, I don't have any physical, like I'm not throwing up or tasting metal.
Yeah.
So that's good. And so you're going along feeling good, doing okay with helping Booker be a busy little boy during this time.
Yeah, he kept us really busy. And we had done the NIPT test with him.
Okay.
I think part of me, like, I wanted to know the gender, but also like I wanted to kind of put my mind at ease. And so we were like, of course, we're going to do that with our second as well.
Yeah. And so just to clarify for those who may not know, the NIPT is kind of, it's a genetic test, right? Just to rule out kind of the big chromosome issues and that. And then of course you can find out what the gender of the baby is at that time.
Yeah. Yep. So I think it tested for 3 big trisomies, trisomy 13, 18, and 21.
Right.
And so we did that with Ellie, and I was 13 weeks when I had that drawn. But my hospital had switched to a different lab than the one that they did when I had Booker.
Okay.
So the results looked a little bit different. The process was a little bit different. And when we got the results back 2 weeks later, they were inconclusive.
Oh.
They said there wasn't enough fetal fraction. So either like I wasn't far along enough, or, it wasn't a very good draw or something of the sort. They don't really tell you the reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we were a little bit worried about that at first, but of course we're not getting any information from the hospital. We're kind of just like looking things up ourselves.
Right. Okay.
So they just said to redo the test. So we did. We waited a little bit. So I was 15 weeks when I did the second draw. Yeah.
And that takes a little while for those results to come back as well. So
yeah, about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you aiming to find out if she was a boy or girl at that time? You wanted to find out the gender, or were you planning on waiting?
Yeah. So before I had kids at all, I didn't want to know the genders. Like I wanted to find out when we had the baby.
You love the surprise,
and then,
huh?
Yeah. But then when I got pregnant, I was like, I have to know.
Right.
I was like, I can't do this for 9 months.
Yeah, it feels too long.
Yeah. So we definitely wanted to know when with Ellie, but I always I didn't want to just read a report. I always wanted to add a special little twist on it. So we ended up sending the report to a coworker of mine, and she filled a balloon with confetti, pink or blue confetti. And we were going to record ourselves popping it. Cause we didn't want to have this big extravagant thing, with our families. We really liked the personal, intimate finding out. So, but yeah, we got the results back, and before, I think it was, let's see, I made notes for myself. June 6th. So June 6th, Booker's crawling around. He's a busy boy. He's getting into the dog water dish again. He dumped the water all over the kitchen floor, and I hadn't seen that he had dumped it, but I saw that he was next to it. So I walked up to him to try to catch him before he dumped it, not thinking that the water was everywhere. Slipped. Oh no. Fell. Did some weird splits thing. And my foot shoved into our little cabinet that we have next to the dish. And there was blood everywhere. It was just it was really bad. And my husband was outside at the time. So I tried to get up, and I tried to grab Booker and hobble outside and be like, something happened. You have to come get him. And I'm thinking my toe's probably broken because I can't even move it.
Oh, and it's bleeding.
Yeah. It was really bad. It hurt a lot. But I didn't want to go. It was 7:00 at night. I didn't want to stay in the ER all night. Yeah. And I was I'm just going to I'm going to go to an urgent care in the morning. Right. So, went to urgent care. They ended up doing an x-ray. They said it wasn't broken. I just severely hurt it. It's pretty bruised. It's all right, it hurt my ego too. Yeah. So But I asked them to check on the baby, and he was like, "Oh, we don't do that here. You're going to have to make an appointment with your OB." And I was like, "You can't just listen to her. Just like make sure that there's still heartbeat and everything." Because I hadn't fallen on my belly, but I instinctively like put my arms out.
Yeah.
But I still felt really hard.
Yeah.
So I was very anxious, but I had to wait the entire weekend to see my OB on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wasn't far enough along to like pick up a strong heartbeat because I had a home Doppler.
Right. Yeah.
And I was only like 15, 16 weeks then.
Mm-hmm.
And I like tried really hard to like pick it up. I think I heard like a faint heartbeat at that time, but I don't know. I needed like a professional to be like, yes, she's okay.
Yeah.
Or I didn't know the sex at that time, but
right. Exactly. But get the okay that everything was okay. I mean, yeah, because it is scary. Like you just never know.
Right. Yeah. So I remember Monday morning, my husband called into work. Like he decided that he was going to be there with me. And we went in, and I think we had to take Booker with us because we couldn't find someone last minute. But the midwife like put the Doppler on my belly, listened for a really long time. And she's like, "Do you have any pain in your belly?" You know, going through the list of questions. And she's like, I think she's fine, or I think the baby's fine. I think you're okay. I don't see anything wrong. And I was like, oh my goodness. So glad. Yeah. So we went out to like a late lunch after that.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to a sit down restaurant, and I remember like I'm hobbling in after we had looked for like some sort of brace or shoe or something for me to wear.
Yeah.
And we sat down in the booth, ordered our food, and right after the waitress brought our food out, my phone went off, and it was the OB office again. And I was like, oh, maybe I forgot something there, or like they saw something wrong with like my next appointment schedule or something. Mm-hmm. Like something must have flagged it when I came in. And she called, or I answered the phone, and I heard the nurse say, "We got your NIPT results back." And I was like, oh, okay. I just let you know, I don't want to know the sex over the phone, because like I wanted to find out in a special way. And sometimes if you don't like say it right away, they'll be like, oh, and it's
Yep. That was good.
And I remember her telling, like, her voice just got really serious, and she was like, "That's not why I'm calling." And the tone of her voice, just my heart like sunk into my stomach immediately. Like I knew something was wrong just by the way she changed. And I said, "What is it?" And she said, "Your results came back with a 20% high risk chance that your baby has trisomy 18. And I remember thinking, okay, trisomy 18. I'm like racking my brain. I'm like, trisomies. I'm like trying to remember. And the only thing I could remember was trisomy 21, Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. And I asked her, I was like, what does that mean? And she said, well, this is a very serious life-limiting diagnosis. And it doesn't mean that your baby has trisomy 18, but it means that the screening picked up what could be trisomy 18, and you'll need follow-up tests for an actual diagnosis. And I remember just kind of sitting there on the phone without saying something for a long time. Yeah. And my husband looked at me and he's like, what's going on? And I like couldn't find words. And I remember her asking me, do you have any questions? And I thought, thousands. I have thousands of questions. Yes. And I can't where do I start?
Yes, exactly.
But I couldn't think of any. So I said no. And she said, okay. And we hung up the phone, and I told my husband, I was like, we need to go right now. And he didn't even question it. He went up to the waitress, he grabbed the check, he grabbed box of our food. We left. And I remember getting in the car, and he's like, Liz, tell me. And I told him, I said, we just got flagged high risk for trisomy 18. And I told him exactly what she said. And I remember just like, that was like the first moment that I felt so guilty, because when I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, I don't want to be pregnant right now. That's all I kept thinking was, I don't want to be pregnant. I don't want to be pregnant. Like, make this be a dream. And I just kept thinking, this is my fault. I did this. And I don't even know how I drove home. I have no idea. Because my husband and I had driven separately. So, somehow made it home, somehow put the food in the fridge, somehow put Booker to bed. I can't even remember that day. It's kind of all a blur. Yeah. And we threw ourselves into research. We stayed up for hours and hours, most of the night, just finding everything we possibly could. And it was like, you find one piece of information, and it was like, there's hope, and, it'll be okay. And then finding another piece of information, and it was just like, this baby's going to die. And it was up and down and up and down and up and down. We literally like worried ourselves sick.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of information out there, and so many different, cases. And yes, going down those rabbit holes can be real tricky.
Yeah. Yeah. That first week or two was probably the most brutal, because we couldn't go in to see an MFM, maternal fetal medicine doctor, until like at least 18 weeks to get an early 20-week scan.
Okay. So that's what they recommended, that you transfer care essentially to a different provider. And then, it takes forever sometimes to get into those specialists. Honestly, it really does take forever. So.
Yeah. So we scheduled our scan at 18 weeks, our 20-week scan at 18 weeks.
Yes.
And they told us that was like the first sign, like we would be able to pick up markers on the ultrasound to tell us if this screening was accurate or not.
Okay.
Or we could do an amniocentesis, but there were a lot of risks to that. So we decided to do the ultrasound first.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went into ultrasound, and we were both incredibly nervous. I remember the room being very, very, very quiet.
Right.
And I remember like my palms were sweating. My husband was like on the edge of his seat the whole time, where, they have the big TV up and you can see everything. And we're just scanning for markers.
Yeah. And isn't that funny where you're like, I don't even know what I'm looking at?
No, we were just, we tried so hard, the baby looked similar to, our ultrasound with Booker. But, we were only reading about these markers, and we didn't know how to find them.
Right.
And of course, the sonographer isn't going to tell you, because they're not the ones who are supposed to break that type of news. So it was just silent. It was so quiet. And I remember asking, like, are the measurements okay? Is the baby measuring with the same due date and everything? And she said, yeah, the baby's measuring fine. And I remember our MFM doctor who came in, and he like came in so chipper. Like he was just like, he had already reviewed the photos,
Okay.
and everything. And he came in, he was like, I just want to let you know that this is not what a baby with trisomy 18 looks like. And this is not what an ultrasound looks like with a baby with trisomy 18.
Oh.
And I don't think you guys have anything to worry about. Sometimes there are, weird things that happen, and that could have been the reason why you got that high risk screening. So that was that feeling of like going from, it was just like, it was the biggest weight off of our chest.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we were holding our breath for 2 weeks and we could finally breathe again. Yeah.
I would have been like, thank goodness all my prayers were answered. And, like just feeling so like, oh, we didn't have to worry about so much as we were thinking. So,
yeah. And we had a genetic counselor who came in shortly after the MFM doctor did, and she completely agreed with him. And she's
Really?
like, you can, she's like, you can do the amniocentesis if you want a definitive answer.
Okay.
But we don't see anything wrong. The only thing they couldn't do was the baby was moving too much to get like good heart pictures.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
we couldn't get good heart pictures.
So were they going to have you come in later? Because I know some people will have to, they're like, oh, you can go to a fetal, they do much more fancy pictures and stuff like that, or else just come in like 2 weeks later and we'll get some pictures.
Yeah. They just scheduled us. We went in, I think the following week, to get those heart pictures. But yeah, everybody said the baby's fine. It was like the first breath of like, okay, we're going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, and then also I'm actually curious. So when you originally got those details about being kind of high risk for trisomy 18, did you tell your family members, like your extended family, were they worrying for you too during those 2 weeks of time?
Yeah, so we let everybody know that there could be a risk, but obviously, I mean, we were like, it's just a screening, it's not a diagnosis. And I told my coworkers as well, and we just had like prayer warriors just praying for us constantly, making sure that, everything was going to come out okay. And I remember going home from that on our way to pick up our son. And my husband, he was raised Christian. But when he was 17, he started losing his faith, and he actually became atheist. Well into his adulthood, he, didn't believe in God. He didn't believe that God could, let such terrible things happen. And I remember on the way home, he told me, he said, I think I've denied him for too long. And it was like this baby had like brought us to this point in our faith. She was kind of our salvation. So we were waiting for those good results before we found out the gender.
This is
we just needed like something. I know, we needed something good.
Yes.
Because like those couple weeks in between like the screening and the first ultrasound were like, they were brutal. They were so brutal. So we just needed like some good news before we like learned the sex.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you did, I mean, obviously you're looking at the ultrasound too, and they're able to identify what the sex was.
Yeah.
So you told them not to tell you, right? Still?
Yes, we told them not to tell. We're like, we want to wait to know. When she was like, all right, I'm going over, the goods. I think is what she said, going over the goods. So I'm going to turn the screen off. And they're like, okay. but yeah, we went home that day and it was super sunny. It was in June, and we picked up the balloon from my coworker. She had it at my work, and we brought the balloon home, and we were standing up in the woods, and I like put my husband's ladder up and like propped my phone against it and everything. And we had Booker, and he's obsessed with balloons, of course.
Yeah.
So it was very appropriate. And I remember popping the balloon. I asked my husband, I said, okay, what do you think it is? And like my whole pregnancy, he thought it was a girl. And then at the very last second, he said, it's a boy. And there are no like girl babies in my family. Like it's only boys.
Oh.
So I always wanted a girl. I thought that my son actually was a girl. And I knew in my heart, like I needed a girl really badly, but I didn't want to like get disappointed. So I'm like, it's a boy. I just convinced myself it's a boy.
Yeah.
So we were both like team boy. And when I popped the balloon, I was just like, this huge gasp came out of my husband. And like, I picked it up on the recording. He was just like,
Oh.
And we didn't even like, neither of us knew what to say. It was just like an explosion of like pink confetti. And we're already on cloud nine because like the MFM doctor had just told us that like everything was fine, like our baby was okay. And then we find out we're having a girl, and it was just like, it was the most magical day of my entire pregnancy. We both were in like total shock. You know, he's hugging me. We put Booker down. Booker's like walking around the yard and everything, just like looking at the pink confetti. But it was so magical. Yeah. It was amazing.
Seriously, it sounds so beautiful and how celebratory that is. Like, yeah. And especially when you're like expecting it to be a boy. You're always hoping, you're like, oh, maybe it's a girl, but to be so totally surprised.
Yeah. Cause it was like, it was like the one of each, everybody wants like one of each. I want one of each. And I never thought that I would get lucky and have one of each. And there it was, one of each. It's so perfect.
It's awesome. So fun. And Booker is what? He's probably 10, he's 11 months, almost a year old at this time.
Yeah. Yep. So he had just turned a year in April.
Okay.
So June, April, May, June. So he was 14 months at this time.
Okay. So
he was already walking. He was starting to talk. Yeah. He was like, busy boy.
Yes. Okay. So he was loving the balloon too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And this was like, I remember this being like the first time that I was like, we're doing this. Like, we're doing this. It's perfect. It's meant to be. It's perfect. I like took back everything that I had before, all of the, like the regrets, all of the, I can't believe I'm pregnant. It was just, we were like in our own little bliss at that point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a beautiful day.
Yeah, it was perfect. Yep. But we didn't tell our family for quite a while.
Really?
So, yeah. We wanted it to be a secret. And we planned on telling them with fireworks because it was close to the 4th of July.
Oh,
it was like mid-June when we found out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and my dad always has like this huge 4th of July party every year. So we were like, yep, we're going to have, pink fireworks and light up the sky. And, because it was the first girl of the family. So it was a really big deal.
It is.
Yeah. And my mother-in-law, she always wanted girls, had 3 boys. So it was so special.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I bet they were so excited.
Yes, everybody was. Yeah. And we like dove right into it. Like I immediately went upstairs and grabbed all of like Booker's old clothes. And I'm like going through them like, okay, can a girl wear this? No.
Gender
like,
neutral enough? No.
Yep. And I'm sorting through everything. I'm like picking out things that, this baby can have, and, putting away the other things to like donate, because we made the decision that if this was a girl, like this was going to be our last.
Okay.
So, we were like, okay, we just need these baby things like one more time and then we're done. So I was going to donate all of the boy things.
Yeah.
So we're on cloud 9, and the next week we go in to get our ultrasound again for like the heart scans.
Oh yeah, just to confirm and see, since you weren't able to. Can I back up one question really quickly?
Yeah, of course.
So you guys are expecting a girl now. Did you guys have names chosen out, or was that a start? Yeah. You guys were like, I'm going to actually find names.
So the funny thing is we've had a girl name picked out separately, like before we even met each other.
Oh.
And it was the same name.
No, it was not.
Yes. So we met each other in 2014, and like, I don't know, a year later, we started talking about like babies and baby names and everything. And we had discovered that we both loved the name Ellie. And it was like super random. And I was like, oh, that's so weird. Like I loved the name Ellie so much as a child that I named my cat Ellie.
Yeah. That's what you do.
Yeah. Like Ellie was special to both of us. Like well before we even met each other.
That is so crazy. And
yeah.
Really
so
cool.
Yeah. So when I was pregnant with Booker, before we found out it was a boy, we were like, okay, if it's a girl, it's Ellie. If it's a boy, we still don't know. Like he was, I don't know, I was 8 months along before we even picked out a boy name for him, but had a girl name picked out. So.
Totally ready for that.
So, I mean, as soon as we saw the pink confetti, we knew her name was Ellie.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah. And we knew we wanted like a longer name and have Ellie be the nickname. And we both really loved Eleanor at some point in our relationship. And the meaning of the name Eleanor is shining light. So I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah, that is. Oh, that's so cool. How fun is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for letting me interrupt. So let's go back to the follow-up ultrasound to just view the heart and everything. So
this was towards the end of June. I was 19 weeks at this time. And I remember going in, and of course we're like on cloud 9, like nothing can touch us. We're doing great. We don't expect anything bad to happen.
Yeah.
Sorry. When we found out Ellie was a girl, this was a really important part. And it's like anything bad that can happen will happen. It's just kind of like how our life is. And I was always considered lucky before I met my husband. And then I met my husband, and like everything bad started happening. And it's just like, it's funny to us now. Like it's very,
you're like, obviously this tracks for our family. Like that is so funny.
Yeah. So like when we found out we were having like a girl after we had a boy, and it was perfect. I remember my husband saying, there's a catch. Like this can't be true. This can't be real. There's a catch. And of course at that time, I like brushed it off, and I'm like, oh, him and his luck he's had his whole life. Like he's probably just, he's thinking that something's going to go bad. And I was just still on cloud 9, but he was always like, something's going to happen. Like there's a catch to this. It can't be this perfect. So yeah, I wanted to make note of that before we moved into the rest, because that really played into everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we were in there for our scans, and I remember the MFM doctor coming in, and it was the same one. And he said, I think I caught something. And it took me a second to like actually hear what he said, because I was so like caught up in the cloud nine aspect of the pregnancy that I wasn't expecting him to say that there was something wrong.
Yeah.
And he was so matter of fact about it. I remember like him telling us in like this very monotone, like I was talking to a robot almost. And he was like, I think I see a heart defect. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we were in here last week. Everything was fine. And he like pulled up the scans and he's showing us these pictures. And of course we're like, we don't know what we're looking at.
Right.
And he's like, I think I see a hole here. And then he like pulled up a video and he was like, but when I look at this, I don't see anything wrong. And he's literally like talking out loud, like going back and forth with us. And I remember looking at him and I'm just like, what are you doing right now? Like, what? You're crushing me and you don't even know for sure.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think you should get an echo done with a cardiologist.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he gave us the amniocentesis option again. And he's like, you can get an amniocentesis. These are the risks. And I was like, no, we're not going to do the amniocentesis yet, because there was like a small chance that it could cause a miscarriage. So we decided to go with the echo and get that scheduled.
So are you under the impression, like, did he say anything about like there might still be an issue? Like your baby still has trisomy 18. Does that make sense? Like, or was he just saying, I just see this heart thing?
He just talked about the heart.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, just talked about the heart. He couldn't figure out if the baby had a hole in their heart, or if like something was wrong with the ventricle.
Okay.
Or he was just like, because he came to us and was like talking out loud, like with his thoughts, it was like we saw the back and forth in his mind that was happening in his mind. And that made us like go back and forth a lot as well.
Right.
So my husband, of course, like with his history of his luck, he's just like, he clung to that. And he's like, there's absolutely something wrong. And I'm like, no, like this is my daughter and everything's going to be fine. And I remember like my husband, like he just started praying together as a family. Every single night we would pray together, and we would just ask God to let Ellie be okay and let this just be a fluke. And I remember like all of our prayer warriors, our family, our friends, my coworkers, just like people would message me and say, you know, I'm praying for you. And before that, so it was like the middle of our roller coaster. Like it was up and down and up and down. And it was just, we thought that we were in the clear, and then we found out that we weren't. So yeah, we had to go in. The earliest we could be seen was the next week for the echo. So another week of waiting.
Yep.
And of course, we're like throwing ourselves into research again. You know, we're trying to find as much information as possible because they don't give you much in the hospital.
Yeah.
So, you know, everything, my husband was just like, he would be up all night long, just like finding out as much as he could. And I could see it on him. Like he was just exhausted all the time and so much stress. And, you know, we'd tiptoe around like sharing information with each other because it was either like soul crushing and hope crushing and took everything away, or it gave us hope and we didn't want to have false hope. Right. So it was always a catch-22 with every new piece of information. Yeah. So, we went in for the echo. all in the same hospital. And then echo takes a really long time.
Yeah.
I think the sonographer was scanning for like well over an hour, just trying to get really good pictures and video and everything. And my husband had taken the first half of work off, the first half of the day. But because it took so long, he actually ended up having to go to work.
Oh.
So I finished up the echo by myself.
Okay.
And the sonographer, of course, she was so sweet. She was like trying to keep my spirits up, I could tell. And I'm just like super nauseous and just like worried sick. And I remember when she finished, she like brought me into, she called it a consult room, but it looked like just like an exam room. And I sat down and I had my husband on speakerphone, and she's like, okay, the doctor will be in a little bit. And when he came in, I remember thinking, oh my God, he's so young. he looks so young. I'm like, he's a cardiologist. And he like came in and his face was just like, he was so serious. And he has like these big, like sad eyes, and he's looking at me, and he had somebody with him who I think was training with him or something. But he pulled up a chair next to me. He had like this drawing of a heart and everything. And my husband's on speakerphone, and he said, I want to let you know that your daughter has a very, very serious heart defect. Oh. And although it's really early on and we can't give a definite diagnosis because it's so early on, I just got off the phone with my colleagues at Ann Arbor, and they agree with me that this baby is really going to struggle in their life if they make it to term. And I remember like looking at him and like I couldn't find the words. I couldn't think of any questions to ask him. And he's drawing on his paper, and he's showing me how the left ventricle was a lot smaller than the right ventricle. And he was telling me, if the baby doesn't have trisomy 18, because he knew about our screening. Okay. If the baby doesn't have trisomy 18, this diagnosis of HLHS will make it so that they have to have a series of heart surgeries within the first year of their life.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is very invasive and hard, and so many things for that little baby and for the family too. Yeah. So it was like, we went from thinking our baby has trisomy 18 to not to thinking they could again to now we have a baby who may not have trisomy 18, but has a very serious heart defect. Yeah.
And I know that I remember the cardiologist, he sat there for a while, and I think it was because I was alone and my husband, he had to get off the phone and go into work.
Yeah.
He was like, do you want me to sit with you for a while? And I was like, I'm okay. And he's like, well, let us know when you want to leave and we'll walk you out and everything. And so I just like sat in the room for a little bit, and I just like sobbed. I couldn't, my mind was racing. I felt like I was cramming all this medical information like into my brain that I couldn't understand. Yeah. And I remember walking out of the room, and I'm like trying to find my way out. It's just like a maze back there. And I found a woman sitting at a desk, and she like looks at my face, and I'm all puffy from crying, and and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. And she hands me like this whole box of tissues. And I'm like, how do I get out of here?
I've been wandering around. Also.
And she's walks me out. She doesn't even tell me where to go. She sees that I am not like able to take directions right now.
Yeah.
And she walks me out of the office, and she was like, do you want us to walk you to your car? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. And I'm just like carrying this box of tissues with me as I walk out of the hospital to my car. And I remember calling my boss, and I was like, I can't come in. I was like, I can't come into work today. And I told him everything that happened. And he was like, you stay home.
Yeah.
Like you need to be home right now.
Yeah. This is too much.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was like, I was 20 weeks along then, and we got the severe diagnosis of HLHS.
And for our audience, what is HLHS? I think if I'm not mistaken, you can, if you want to describe it, you've already kind of mentioned what it is, but I would love to hear what you probably went down a rabbit hole and found out all about it.
Yeah. So what we learned was HLHS is hypoplastic left heart syndrome. And it means that one ventricle of the heart is developed significantly smaller than the other ventricle. And we were told that ventricles can't grow, like it can't like catch up with the other ventricle further along in our pregnancy. Yeah. And a lot of the times to correct that, they figure out, I think they said the heart surgeries bypass the other ventricle so that they can get blood both to the lungs and to the rest of the body, because the ventricles do the two opposite things. Yeah. So that's how it was explained to us, I believe.
Yeah, it's just wouldn't get enough blood to the rest of the body, and that would cause some, like the cardiologist said, would really significantly affect your baby's life. So that is rough to hear. Okay, so you guys, you ended up going home that day, dove deep into that next rabbit hole. So what were your next steps after that? Because you didn't see your like MFM. This was just the cardiologist now. Are you going back into the MFM?
So we didn't go back into MFM. My husband, because he wasn't able to be there, he had a lot of follow-up questions.
Yeah. Okay.
So we actually scheduled a phone call with a cardiologist to speak with him first. And I remember we had like this whole list of questions for him. A lot of his answers to that were, I'm not going to answer that right now until we can figure out if there's a trisomy 18 diagnosis, because that really determined like the route of care.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of just, we didn't really have a choice anymore. We had to get the amniocentesis.
Okay.
So that was like the first thing that we did, was schedule that with MFM again.
Okay. And had you informed the rest of your family after that? I mean, obviously you told your coworker, your boss, but did you tell the rest of your family what had happened? I mean, what you guys found out at this time?
Yeah, so we kept our family updated throughout the whole process. So they were really riding the roller coaster of ups and downs with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, I think, really hard for them as well, because everyone would be at a different point in it. I remember talking to my mom at some point, and we were on very opposite ends. And I was like telling myself that Ellie wasn't going to make it. And my mom was like sending me a lot of information to make it seem like she was going to, like it was a lot of doubt for her. She was like, well, what if the doctors are wrong? Like the doctors can be wrong. Yeah. My mom's a nurse, so she's been a nurse for a very long time.
Right. And doctors can be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And like a part of me wanted so badly to believe that everything was wrong. Like the echo was wrong, the screening was wrong, and we have like a perfectly healthy baby.
Yeah.
Because we had Booker. Like
Yeah.
he was healthy. He was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
So it was a lot of ups and downs with my family. And I think a lot of them tried to help us like have hope. And a part of me did. Like a part of me like believed in every single ounce that she gained. And a part of me, like every good piece of news, I just like clung to.
Yeah.
But I also felt myself like protecting my heart a little bit.
Just don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You prepare for the worst, right? I mean, it's not great, but that's kind of what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I honestly think that it was a lot harder on my husband after he found out that it was a girl. I think he just felt instantly very protective over her.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't think he had a lot of hope to begin with. And I think that was the beginning of him. He's like, I have to be strong for my family. So I think that was the point that he kind of started disconnecting from the pregnancy. As much as he wanted to be hopeful and as much as he wanted to like feel the kicks and hear the updates, he also, I think, was preparing himself to be our rock if we had lost her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once again, to protect his heart too, a little bit, right? Like that is, it's, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So then you guys had scheduled the amniocentesis. How did that eventually go?
So we scheduled the amniocentesis for a couple weeks later. However, we really wanted, the 4th of July was in between those two times. We wanted to like give our big like gender reveal.
Yes.
So I remember on July 3rd, my coworkers threw like this little gender reveal party, and I played the video at that. And before the video, I had made like blue drinks and pink drinks for them, and they had to like fill up their cup and to pick like what their vote was.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And these are the same people that, you know, not even a year and a half prior, like I was celebrating with my pregnancy with Booker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I remember playing the movie or the video for them of us popping the balloon, and like everyone knew that Ellie was going to have a very, very long road ahead of her if she made it to term at all.
Yeah.
And everyone, you know, these were my prayer warriors. They were like my rocks.
Yeah.
Every day I went to work and they were just like, they understood. They just sat in silence with me. They were amazing. And when they watched the video, everyone was just so quiet, and they saw the pink confetti, and they were just like, the whole room just erupted in screams. It was like, it was the gender reveal like I so badly wanted.
Yeah.
But like, I saw everyone's face and I knew that they were thinking the same thing I was, that I finally got my girl, but at the same time, she might not make it. So it was really hard. They all came up to me one by one and they gave me a big hug, and it's like they all like quietly understood.
Yeah.
But they celebrated anyway. They made me feel normal. They and I mean, most of them aren't even moms, and they just they were just there. They just made me feel special and normal and welcoming my daughter, despite having complications.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. I loved it.
Yeah. Those are good coworkers.
Yeah. They were amazing. But a few days after that, on July 5th, it was a Saturday, we had a huge 4th of July party. And then we dedicated a little part of that to, the gender reveal. So I had like the little decorations on another table, and I had like this board where you could vote like boy or girl, and then put like I voted sticker on.
Yeah.
And I just wanted normalcy. Like after this roller coaster, I just needed to like feel excited that I was having a baby.
Yeah.
And I had people play the little games, and everybody participated. Like, even though they knew, the severity of everything, even though they knew that there was a big chance that she wasn't going to make it, they did it anyway. And, the little prediction charts, I still have those predicted, what's her weight, what's going to be her weight, her height, what time is she going to be born. And I kept all of those, and they were just so special to me.
Yeah.
It just meant so much that everybody celebrated her anyway. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
So we had a big screen with a projector set up to play the video. And we had the fireworks. And we had everybody gather around where they were going to set the fireworks off. And, I was sitting next to the screen to like play the video after the fireworks went off. And I remember most everyone voted boy. I mean, there were some people who voted girl. Yeah.
But there were so many boys. So
yeah, there's so many boys. And everyone showed up for this. Oh. So my parents aren't together, but my mom still came to this. My mom's mom, my grandma, and my grandpa, they still came to it. Even though it was at my dad's house, everybody got together just to they just wanted to be a part of this with us. So we had them light off the fireworks, and I have a video of it. It's the whole sky. It was like one after another. Pink, pink clouds, pink fireworks, pink explosions. Like, it was just all pink, and everyone just erupted in screams. Like, everybody was so excited.
Oh yeah. And I bet so surprised too. Like, what?
Yep. Yeah. And they knew our story about like names and everything. So they knew as soon as they saw the pink, it was Ellie. They knew it was Ellie.
Yay.
So right after the fireworks, I played the video of us popping the balloon, and everybody came up to us, and I don't think there was a single dry eye. Like, everybody was crying and so excited, because on one hand they were like, everything was so heavy because of what we had found out about Ellie, but everyone was so happy because it was like the first girl.
Yeah.
And it was so special.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some good family members there too. That is wonderful.
Oh yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yep. Yeah. So our amniocentesis was scheduled just a couple days after that on a Monday.
Okay.
And my husband actually had to work. He couldn't get off of work for it.
Darn it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to go alone, and my mother-in-law texted me, and she said, "What time is your amniocentesis? Like, I want to be there for you." And I was just shocked because, I mean, we've always been very close. I was kind of won the jackpot in the mother-in-law area.
Good. So good.
But I was just shocked that she wanted to be there for me. And I was like, yes, I would love for you to be there. So she met me there, and, she went into the consult room, and the MFM doctor, who, it was a different one this time, he went over all of the risks, and I had to sign a paper sitting that I understood all of the risks of this procedure. And I just remember feeling incredibly anxious. Just like, despite everything we had learned about Ellie, I just wanted to give her the best chance.
Yeah. Yes.
And I knew that this procedure could possibly cause a miscarriage. And I was just terrified the whole time.
Yeah.
So I remember the doctor, they had the sonographer set up so that they could see where the needle was going into.
Right. Okay.
Where the needle was going into the sac. So they had the video of that set up. And then the doctor brought out like this incredibly long needle. And I think that like made me feel a little lightheaded.
Yes.
Just seeing that.
You're putting that where?
Yeah. And so like my palms are getting sweaty, and I don't feel like my breathing is very controlled.
Yeah.
And he told me that he was going to insert the needle. And I remember holding my breath.
Yeah.
Even though he told me not to. Because I was just like, I don't want to cause the needle to hurt Allie or anything.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing too. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay as still as possible.
And I just remember whispering under my breath. I was just like, stay still, Allie. Like, don't move. Because she was a sassy girl. Like every ultrasound that we've ever had, she was always
moving and
shaking. She hated when people invaded her space. So like any time like a wand or anything would push on my belly, she pushed right back.
Stop bugging me.
So I remember just whispering to her. I was just like, stay still. It's okay. Just like, I don't know. I knew she could hear me, just like trying to keep her calm. And the first time he put the needle in, he couldn't get to a pocket of fluid. So he actually had to take the needle out and go back in.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think at that point,
I was going to say, how painful is this too? I actually I've never done an amniocentesis and I've never seen one, but it just, is it painful? I mean,
they say it's not painful, but there was so much pressure.
Oh, okay.
I think they numbed my belly up where they were going to put it, but the pressure alone, because you have to go through the skin and then through the sac. So there's 2 points of pressure.
Yeah.
And the sac, I remember it feeling like they're feeling more pressure at that point.
Really?
Yeah. So it was, and of course your adrenaline is just rushing the whole time too.
Yeah.
And, I think the mix of the adrenaline and also the pain and pressure from the procedure, I instantly got super lightheaded and started seeing black spots in my vision and everything. And he finally got enough fluid. I could see him pull out a vial of fluid and everything. And he pulled the needle out and he starts cleaning up and everything. Sonographer looks at me and I must have been ghost.
Yeah.
She looks at me and she's like, are you okay? How are you feeling? And I'm like, I think I just mumbled words. I don't even know if they made any sense, honestly. But she's like, okay, let me go get you some juice and crackers. And she had me lay down and everything. And my mother-in-law just sat there the whole time. She was holding my hand, and I finally was a lot better. And then they went and checked on Ellie and made sure that she was okay too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And she was still moving and shaking, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah. She moved way more than my son did when I was pregnant with him. Way more.
Good.
Yeah. So they told me that I had a couple of options as far as results. I could get what they call the fish, which is it comes back in a day or two.
Yeah.
but it's only testing like a certain percentage of, I hope I'm saying everything correctly, certain percentage of chromosomes, whereas the microarray tests like the full range of chromosomes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wanted to know, because there's different kinds of trisomy 18. You can have like full trisomy 18, or you can have what they call mosaic or partial trisomy 18.
Okay.
And the complications obviously are less with the partial or mosaic. The full is much more serious.
Right.
And so I wanted to know, because we had been on that roller coaster for so long of ups and downs, I wanted like definite information.
Yes.
I did not want the like partial information, and left us with more questions than answers.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to do the wait for the microarray, which they told us would take a whole week to come back.
Okay.
So another week of waiting.
There's so much
looking
waiting.
up information.
I know. I just am like going through with it. I mean, like yes, this is so intense. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I remember like feeling how, like, I was so stressed, and I was like, I really hope that the stress that I feel is not affecting Ellie. And I tried so hard to like do little things to like bring my stress down, because they say stress isn't good for the baby. And I'm like, what do you want me to do right now?
I'm trying my darndest.
And it's like, how can you give me all this information and me not be stressed about it?
Exactly. I'm like, what do you want? Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, I was 21 weeks when I got the procedure done. I was 22 weeks when we got the results back.
Okay.
And nobody called us. So we have, it's like this online portal. It's called MyChart.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And
they just showed up there. They just showed up.
They just showed up. And I can't figure out why. I wish that they would, like, I don't know, go through a doctor first before they just like pop up in a chart somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it went to Mayo. That's where the lab was that they sent everything, and and then came back to us, and I got the results at like it must have been like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. As I was waking up to get ready for work. My husband already left because he leaves early for work. So I got up, I checked my phone, I saw the notification, and then I stopped, and I was like, no, we need to, like, my husband and I need to be together for this. And then it got the best of me, and I was like, I have to know.
Yeah.
So I opened up MyChart and I looked at the results, and it stated that 86 of her chromosomes had been affected by trisomy 18 or was positive for trisomy 18. So she was considered to have a full trisomy 18 diagnosis. And my heart just like, my heart dropped. And I was alone. Like I didn't, my husband was at work, and, my son was still sleeping, and I was supposed to be getting ready for work. And I called my husband right away, and thank God he was able to answer, because he works in, fabrication. So he's doing like line work and but he was able to answer the phone, and I told him, and I remember telling him, I remember saying the words, "It's better this way." Because I just, like, as a mom, I wanted my daughter here. And despite, the complications of having to have like multiple heart surgeries and everything, like, I wanted her here. And if she had trisomy 18, she was no longer eligible for heart surgeries, is what we were told.
Oh.
So they were going to let her die. And I remember telling him it's better this way, and not really like trying to convince him, but like trying to convince myself, I think.
Yeah.
This was going to be the least painful thing for her, is to have comfort care, to pass in peace, and to not, go through all the pain of all these heart surgeries and not have to fight, only days old. And I don't even remember the rest of the conversation with him. I remember hanging up, and I called my mom, and I told her, and it was like all over again. Like I was convincing her it's better this way. It's better this way. And I called like my sister. I was just like, I started making my rounds of phone calls. And my husband showed up. He came home from work, and he said, "Get dressed. We're going to the zoo." And I just looked at him like, "What are you talking about? Like, you're crazy." And he said, we're gonna take advantage of this. We're gonna spend this time together as a family. This is our family day." And he got Booker up, and he got him dressed, and he drove us to the zoo, and we just spent that one last day in bliss, just together. Before we started going down the rabbit hole of what our life is going to be, we just had that day of just fun with Booker and Ellie. And, I kept my arms around my belly, and just, it was perfect. It was like the best worst day.
I know. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so sweet and so heartbreaking.
Yeah. So we were at the zoo, and I got the call from the genetic counselor, and I hit ignore. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to talk about it. This was my day with my family, and I wasn't going to let anybody ruin that. So we had a beautiful day. We fed the giraffes, and Booker was in such a good mood that day, which without a nap is sometimes pretty rare, but but we got home, and it was like we put Booker down for a nap, and life just like caught up to us. And we throwing ourselves in research again. And I remember telling Nathaniel, my husband, I was like, I have to call the genetic counselor. I have to talk to her. And he's like, I know. And I was like, do you want to call with me? And he's like, I can't. It's like, I can't do this anymore. And I think he just, at that point in time, his heart was just broken. And he was like stuck between, I have to be strong for my family. I have to, be strong for my wife, and my daughter's gonna die. And he just couldn't do it. And I totally understood. But I knew I had to. I knew I had to get as much information as I could. I needed to find that small ounce of hope to hang on to. I had to get through this pregnancy somehow. So I called her, the genetic counselor, and spoke with her about, asked so many questions. What does this mean? What are the results? The 86 chromosomes, and she explained everything, and it was what we thought. It's the percentage that she would make it through to the third trimester was already low. And then the percentage got even smaller. If she made it through the third trimester, would she make it to her birth?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, they cut it again, the percentage again, if she would make it through her birth. And then if she made it through her birth, it was an even smaller chance that she would make it past a week. And it was just like, it was so like gloom and doom. Like no matter what way you looked at it, like it was awful.
Yeah.
And I decided to go to therapy, started seeing a therapist, and I just needed someone to talk to about it. Like most of my sessions in those earlier months was just like me just like word vomiting on this therapist. That's all I remember. Yes. And it wasn't even like, I don't even remember her giving me like specific things. I don't even remember her getting a lot of words in any of our sessions. It was literally just like me. I just need to talk about this.
Yeah.
So when I saw her again, I let her know, and I remember her saying, doctors can be wrong. Things can be wrong. Like maybe she has full trisomy 18, and, she lives to be an old woman.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of people throughout my pregnancy who said things like that. We had a cousin that called and said, I just met someone who has a daughter with trisomy 18 and she's alive and she's like 3 years old. And I'm just like, I didn't know how much more my heart could take.
Yeah.
So I was very selective at that point on in who I talked to about it. I work with the public. I work at a credit union. So, I would see my regular members come in, and I don't think I told any members about Ellie and her diagnosis. They knew I was pregnant, and they were happy for me. And I got to live in this world of bliss for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And pretend that everything was okay. And, I didn't have to make anyone sad. And I kind of loved that.
Yeah.
I kind of loved having that separate life, that separate world. I went to work and everything was okay with Ellie. And it wasn't until, I'd come home and, I'd see how much my husband was hurting, and it's just like my heart breaking all over again. But right after we got those results was when I decided to create something out of her life, and I needed something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So I created a foundation for her. I called it Through Ellie's Eyes, and I wanted to help families like us, because I didn't feel like we had there's a lot of support out there for people who are given a life-limiting prenatal diagnosis. Right. There's a lot of support for parents who had a stillbirth or an infant loss, and there just wasn't specific resources for that.
Yeah.
Because that journey in itself, like the whole pregnancy, the journey of the ups and the downs, and, her diagnosis and everything was so its own grief. It felt like.
It's just like, I think of it, we have some friends that had, their baby had a life-limiting, two of their babies actually had life-limiting diagnoses, and they were grieving all the while they were pregnant. And it is, that's exactly what you're anticipating, this sadness at the end of it. It is.
Yeah.
It's not great.
It's the most bizarre feeling.
Yeah.
To be looking forward to welcoming your baby and preparing for its death at the same time.
Yep.
And it's like, do we have a baby shower? Do we not have a baby shower? Do we, we had to pick out a funeral home while she was still kicking inside me.
Yeah.
I chose her urn. I wrote her eulogy while she was still kicking inside me. And it was like, it just felt so wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah. It's so contradictory to everything that your like motherly instincts are trying to do. And you're like, this is not right. It's not right.